started. About to go ahead and get started. About to go ahead and get started. I actually forgot what I had used the command for, because I'm starting to use commands more. Let me see. So I had said Shift D, switch. Okay. There we go. Okay, got it. Alright, y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I think I sent it to everybody. Let me go ahead and start recording.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everybody. You know why I'm here. Thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex and cryptocurrency analysis. It's your boy ABK, and I appreciate y'all for being here. So let's go ahead. Oh, this volume is still on. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and get things started. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at the news. You guys know, usually I check out the news before I start doing my analysis. So this week we'll only have news on Thursday and Friday. All day OPEC JMMC meetings. That's for oil related news. So if you do trade oil, you want to watch for that. Thursday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, USD PMI. 2 p.m. we have GBP news. And on Friday we have NFP, start of a new month. So on Friday you want to watch for that. It's going to be an interesting week throughout, because I usually like to say that when it comes to NFP, that I feel like the US market moves during the week. Although last month was really interesting, because last month on NFP the markets actually did move a lot, but I usually tend to see that the US dollar doesn't really move that much when it comes to the actual day on Friday, but throughout the whole week it'll be it'll be sporadic movement. So gonna watch for that regardless. So let's go ahead and hop into the charts. So as I mentioned last week, I'm gonna start changing things up when it comes to my technical analysis. Now I'm gonna go back to how I started doing it when I was doing just strictly arbitrage. And basically the reason why is because I do want to be able to give those who join the next wave, I just got to be able to provide them more value on a daily basis than what I will be able to give out for free, So, and I feel like just arbitrage analysis on arbitrage is more than perfect for a lot of trading. So, I mean, especially the way how I'm going to be doing analysis more of now. It's going to be more of, I'm just giving you my directional bias and telling you where you can expect to see some type of price slowing down or anything like that. But when it comes to trade ideas, again, I only want to leave that exclusively for those who are on next wave. And I know that that's even going to be better for a lot of people, so that they can be able to just have a good general idea of where the direction I'm expecting price to go, rather than me giving out trade ideas. Because again, when it comes to trade ideas, I only feel like if you really want to be like, oh, what is exactly am I looking at, that's kind of doing a disservice, rather than for you to just be like, okay, this is the direction I'm looking towards, but now you figure out yourself how you're going to make an entry for it, So overall, let me go ahead and get started. So basically on the weekly time frame for arbitrage, I like how I'm seeing this bullish move being printed out. So we have to wait for the rest of this week until this actually prints out fully, saying that, okay, yes, this is going to go for a buy. And that's how we can, if you come close, you will see that once you see this blue line right here, the compass line cross through the RSI line, that's when that signal, it's basically a signal, pops up, But again, I like to wait for the candle to actually close for me to actually get this being confirmed that is going to call for a buy, right? And then of course the red line that's right next to the blue line is called the momentum line, and that is just to confirm the trade idea, right? And we also have the level pro right here and arbitrage Z. They are both at ground zero, which is like the zero mark. And usually for both cases, when it's above the ground zero, that's a sign for bullish movement, and when it's below the zero, that's a sign of bearish movement. And so what I'm looking for is for price to go bullish, right? I have almost all my confirmations. I just really need to wait for this candle to close. But usually how I trade this is I wait for the breakout, retest, and then a continuation, right? And so when I want to wait for this breakout right here, that's when I usually, like, you know, grab my Fibonacci tool and stuff like that, and then I'll see, okay, I'll get in whenever price gets in at this RSI line, and also at this lower danger zone for the buy, and vice versa for sells, right? If I'd want to wait for price to retrace, and I specifically wait for that only to get better pricing so that I can have a better risk to reward, right? So for a long term, and I'm talking about long term, I'm talking about weeks and stuff like that. I'm talking about like position trade. What I'm really looking for on the DXY is for price to, let me get that out of here. Oops. It's for price to come down back to where this RSI line is, or the lower danger zone, wherever it stops at, or not even stops at, whichever it gets to first. Well, not whenever it gets to first. Wherever it gets to, that's where I'm going to be looking for my buy opportunity, and I'm going to take this for a long-term trade. And I'm going to go ahead and set my exit. Well, once this week closes, I'm going to set my exit alert so that it's like, okay, if the exit comes, most likely price is going to be like right over here, halfway toward my stop loss. I won't even have to risk my stop loss getting hit, and I could just exit out the trade and wait for a better opportunity. You know, so that's what I'm going to be waiting for on the DXY. I'm bullish on it. The daily time frame has already been bullish, so it's kind of like right here is where you would expect some turbulence, right? Just like how I said, okay, for instance, what I'm looking for on the DXY using just a regular fib is I want to see price come down over to like 90.566 for like that 71% entry that I usually get. But even if it comes over here to 91.036, that's where I'm going to be looking at to get in with my arbitrage indicator, right? And I like seeing the prices slowly coming down. Price actually looks like it might continue going to the upside, but I'm not really watching for that on the daily. But when it comes to the 4-hour time frame, for price to continue to the downside, it looks very likely. I'm liking how price has came down. You see how it gave that sell. The only thing that's really not confirmed for the sell as of yet is the level pro and the arbitrage Z. I like how the arbitrage Z is pointing down. And, you know, usually what I say is as long as price is under this RSI line, so basically, as long as price is under here, I'm looking for price to push to the downside. And whenever I get that alert, so I'm going to go ahead and set arbitrage short exit all. Once I get that only once, I'm not even going to wait for the candle to close. Once I get that alert, that's going to be a sign for me to say that, okay, maybe I'm going to want to get out of this trade for now, you know? Although I do still see the opportunity or the possibility of price still coming up to over here, right? Even up to like 92.0, like just 92. I still see price coming up to over there. I also still do see price possibly coming up all the way to 92.391. I mean, not 92.399. Not 92.391. I mean 92.140. I still see that possibility playing out. So this is another reason why I like using arbitrage, because although I'm planning for a long-term buy, I could still get a short-term sell right here. So I'm really actually, although I know you can't really trade the DXY, I'm bearish on the dollar, and I want that retracement. And so what I would want to see is probably I'd put my stop loss right up over here above these highs. And again, so if I put my stop loss right there, most likely once price gets to like 92.140, price is already going to tell me, yo, you might want to get out the trade. And so I'm not even risking my whole trade off of it, you know? So that's what I'm going to be looking for the DXY ultimately for this 4-hour move. I do know that I don't necessarily like how this necessarily looks on the 1 hour. It just looks sloppy. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing off of this daily time frame. especially when price consolidates for this long. I definitely don't like looking at the lower time frames for any type of opportunities because the bands just tend to get sloppy. But I like how this looks overall. So this is what I'm going to be looking for on the DXY. So if I'm going over to Euro USD, same thing, right? I'm already in a Euro USD buy that we had got into last week. I actually let me not say that I'm in it. I actually had gotten out because I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait because price has just been rejecting over here. And I'm gonna wait for price to come down a little lower so that it can reject off of the RSI line or the lower danger zone before it goes bullish. So that's what I'm looking for ultimately. But on the weekly time frame, it's the same thing right here, guys. Weekly time frame, I'm bearish on the Euro USD, and I ultimately would want to see a retracement and then a continuation to the downside. Like, this is ultimately what I want to see, even if it's not this high. Like, as long as it comes to this RSI line, that's where I'm really looking for price to come down to 1.12900 overall. Because even though this is, yes, indeed a bullish run on the weekly time frame, price still needs to retrace if it's going to keep going bullish, you know, regardless. So overall, over the next couple of weeks, month, whatever, I'm really expecting that bearish push to happen, right? And so once I see that price down here, let me get rid of this. I'm going to hide that real quick, but I'm still going to talk about that. Once I see that price is like rejected off of this lower danger zone, I like seeing that for the potential like retracement, like price to turn around and stuff like that, right? Possibility of price still dropping does exist. Like, it does look like a bear flag, I'm not gonna lie. It does look like a bear flag. Let me hide this. It could just keep going up, then push to the downside. So watching for what this Euro USD play is going to be. I like this 4-hour buy though, like I mentioned, but I would rather just see. Let me push this over here actually. I would want to see price come a little lower, like to like 1.19200 for me to get into a buy. But overall, again, guys, I'm looking for that retracement on Euro USD. I'm still in a long-term sell overall. Let me put my, like, you could also move your stop loss like right over here, like to 1.18700. You don't have to have a wide stop loss like how I'm gonna have a wider stop loss, because then your risk reward is even better, right? It's 1 to 2.45. That looks like a good opportunity to me. But overall, it would be much more safer if you have a trade like here, because then price has the opportunity to come down and make that overall retracement. Overall retracement, maybe back down to like the likes of 1.18765 before continuing to the upside, right? Because if I draw out, although this isn't a impulsive move, if I draw out the fib from the low to the high, we can still see that price can definitely come down over to 1.18840. And if you were to put your stop loss like just right under here, price can just literally wick you out and then continue to the upside. So overall, you can buy from right here. I would much rather try to get an entry over here, and then again stop loss, if for safer reasons, it'd be over here. But if you want to be like really not aggressive type of thing, like right there, you know. But that's for, like I said, if you have arbitrage, it's easy for you to do that. But overall, that's what I would play out, you know. So regardless, I am bullish on these USD pairs. So I'm going to see how that plays out. Not really crazy over the sells as of yet. Need that retracement. I'm going to go ahead and go on over to AUD USD. So AUD USD, I had mentioned that I think that price can definitely come up to the zone that I had drawn out on the weekly time frame. And I said that, if price rejects off of this zone, I'm looking to take price to the downside. We still haven't gotten the sell yet, but that sell will be here very shortly. I like to see that sell possibility coming out we already have the arbitrage Z is still holding under, but the level pro isn't there yet. So gonna wait for that. Daily time frame. Daily time frame, the possibility of price still going up a little higher does exist. These yellow candlesticks showing that there's still a little bit bullish pressure, but when I see a white candlestick, that just means that, oh, price is just gonna do its thing. So I'm just gonna wait a little longer. If I can get an entry a little quite higher, like if I could get price to really come up and reject off of this lower danger zone, then I'll take it to the downside some more. 4-hour time frame, it is bullish, so again, I'm looking for price to climb up a little higher. Expect price to come up to like 0.76900, and then that's where I'll be looking for like a potential sell or something like that, you know. Uchf is basically the opposite of what I'm looking at for Euro USD. I have been mentioning that I've been in a buy on Uchf since it was down here at this lower danger zone, and I just expect price to keep going to the upside. I don't necessarily care for seeing white candles. I would have rather wanted to see the yellow candles, because that means that, okay, yes, price may continue going bullish, but I still would want to see some type of retracement a little bit lower, and then a continuation to the upside on Uchf, right? Same thing on here. 4-hour, daily time frame basically almost played out, but it still can go higher, and it's above the mean line right here. So what I would just suggest is for Uchf, if there is something on the 4-hour, let me see. Yep, 4-hour time frame is calling for a sell. So what I would just look for basically is this retracement and then a continuation to the upside. Honestly, that's what I would play on Uchf. Let me just put it over here. Not that low. Like about right here. 0.90600. That seems like a decent area. And again, I'd probably put it under these. If you're gonna take a buy or anything like that, I would put a stop loss under these lows or even under these lows. But you know, I'm bullish overall on USDCHF. The VIX, I'm gonna have to switch my candles to, actually, not on the weekly. I forgot, I'm tripping. So weekly time frame on the VIX, extremely bearish candle. Oh man, these US indices, they kill, man. Extremely bearish candle. Price went bullish in the beginning of the week and then decided to fall, and then it keeps rejecting and it just keeps literally rejecting off of this low, off of this, like, this demand zone, if you will. So I'm just not really, I haven't really taken a serious trade on the US indices for a while, and I don't plan on it, because overall on the weekly it's just extremely bearish. On the monthly, it hasn't called for a bearish move on the monthly yet, but I think it will. From the way how things look, it's not, it just looks like this is going to keep falling. And so if these are going to keep falling, then the S&P and everything else are just going to keep going to the upside. You know, so overall, guys, if you're gonna try and trade these, just take extreme caution. Oh my goodness, man. Look at this. Bullish engulfing candle at all-time highs, creating more all-time highs on the S&P. That's why I haven't been trading this, because it's just, it goes up and then it will drop hard, then it keeps going up. It's just, it's not for me, you know? Daily time frame almost called for that sell, but it never did. 4-hour time frame called for the buy, but I personally would not have bought here. That's just me, but I do like how price held above the upper danger zone, so maybe I would have, especially with all these yellow candlesticks. Yeah, I probably would have, actually. Let me not lie. So yeah, overall, guys, I wouldn't try to trade the S&Ps or anything like that if you're not already in them. Same thing with US 30, Dow Jones. I'm more than, I'm more than certain that it's going to keep going bullish, even though it's called a sell, but it's like it's been already played out. I wouldn't have gone into that. So overall, stay away from that. I assure you, there's nothing good to be found unless you really want to buy. Wait for a good retracement, then buy it, I guess. But I don't have anything for you. Nasdaq, same thing. This thing's just making higher highs. Like, look at this weekly candle making higher highs. Price is gonna keep going bullish. I like to buy low and sell high, and I'm not gonna try to sell at all-time highs. So I'm just being honest. USD Mexican, I'm not crazy over this weekly candle, how it closed. I'm glad I didn't actually get into this trade last week at all, because I would have taken a big L. I don't like I said, I don't like how this weekly candle closed like that. It just makes me think that price is going to keep pushing to the downside. Daily time frame, again, price had called for a buy, but the bands, they don't look the greatest to me. I'm gonna look at 3 days real quick. It's a random time frame, I know, but I'm not really crazy over USD Mexican. I don't like how price just did that whole 180, but overall, from this bullish move that it made, technically speaking, price is still, like, although it's not in my buy box, price is still in it, like showing that this swing could potentially happen. So I'm gonna wait on the lower time frames. Let me see what the 4 hour looking like. The 4 hours is called a sell, and it went crazy. I'm probably gonna have to play the 1 hour on this, to be quite honest. Yeah, the 1 hour time frame. If price can break above these highs at 19.900 basically, and then retest, I'll look for buy opportunities there. So I'm waiting for price to like really break out of there. Retest and the continuation. That's something I would look for. Now, I do know that a better opportunity for what I would really want to look for on like regular technical analysis would be that price breaks out, retest, and then continues. But you know, that's for me. All right, so yeah, USD Mexican, like I mentioned, I would look at the 1 hour time frame for a breakout to the upside, and then a retracement before trying to get into anything. Let me see something real quick. Okay, cool. Just making sure no one's in here. All right, so let's go on over to gold. Gold, I had sent this out in a chat that I'm in, and I'm just now showing this. I think that price is going to do a retracement, and it's going to go bullish very shortly. I like these bullish candles here. So, you know, this is the good area I would look to buy at, and the stop loss wouldn't be that crazy either. 1758, 1757. It is very much bearish, and I would rather prefer to get a retracement to that RSI line before I look to take gold any lower. Weekly time frames, like I mentioned, it never called for the buy. It remained bearish, and so I'm still bearish on gold overall. Don't really have any bullish ideas. I mean, except for this short-term buy, which is actually not really short-term, because if you look at how many pips this bad boy can give you, 723 possibility. I like the odds. I'm actually gonna probably look at this more when I get off of here for a potential buy. Short exit I'll create. We'll see what happens there. Crypto's taking off, man. If Ethereum took off, yes it did. Awesome. Bitcoin took off, went bullish on the 4 hour time frame. Just to show what I had mentioned on here real quick, I had said that price can definitely come back down to these lows at 30,000, 31,000 and potentially go bullish. That's awesome that that's playing out. But now what I want to see is for price to keep going, honestly, like for it could like consolidate a little bit, but I do expect Bitcoin to just keep going, honestly. Like, if it stops and slows down over here, I wouldn't be too excited about that, because then I'll be like, oh, well, you know, it could just stop here, make like a double top, although I wouldn't call that a double top, really. And then for price to continue going to bearish. So, dang, I don't even need water. So overall, Bitcoin, like I said, I want to see it continue going bullish. Daily time frame is starting to set up for a better looking buy opportunity. And once this buy opportunity comes to life, then I'm like, okay, yes, then that's a possibility for me to look into a long-term buy on Bitcoin, margin-wise. But I'm still looking at this weekly time frame. Weekly time frame hasn't closed. If it closes with this type of candlestick, I am going to be ecstatic. I'm going to love that, honestly. If it closes with this type of weekly candle, still have 22 more minutes. So once that happens, I'm pretty sure if this does keep print out like this and price goes bullish, then it won't actually call for a sell. But once this weekly calls for a sell, I'm going to be really skeptical. So watching for this daily, really. Going on over to Ripple. What I want to see on Ripple, same thing as with Bitcoin, make that bullish move, retracement, continuation to the upside. Weekly time frame never called for that buy, and I love how the wick is printing out. 22 more minutes on Ripple. If the candle does close like this, though, unfortunately, it's going to close under that RSI line. So, but that's not gonna mean anything to me, because again, I have to wait for further confirmations before I want to get into any type of long-term buy or sell. And the 4-hour is playing out nice. It's starting to play out nicely on Ripple. I had seen this during the weekend, and I had gone into Ethereum actually. So I'm liking the way how this is playing out on Ripple. A push to 78 cents is highly likely. And again, I want to see that breakout to the upside. I'm liking this opportunity that is starting to arise. So cryptos, expect a bullish run on them, probably most likely. Same thing with Litecoin. That bullish opportunity definitely is looking more and more realistic. Weekly time frame, price is closing under the RSI line. I don't like that, but it's hit the mean line, and this mean line can be a potential place where price is using as support before it goes bullish again. So hey, that bullish opportunity, same thing, 4-hour time frame, it is looking realistic. 4-hour time frame is looking really realistic. So let's see what Litecoin is going to do. This is what I was waiting for more when I was talking about Ethereum. I was like, I still have my confirmation showing me that, and this was on Friday, right? I still have confirmations telling me that price is still bearish, that price can still keep going to the downside. That's why I got out early. But now when I started seeing price do this, I actually did, to be quite honest with you guys, I did just basic fib move. I waited for price to come down. Once I saw that price was rejecting off of this 78.6, that's where I got into my buy. So, and it's not even on a real account, it was just like on a demo account, honestly speaking. So I'm not even too invested into this. But once if price can keep going a little bit higher and then retrace, then I will look for like something at like 1900 or 1850 prices on Ethereum for buys. This is exactly what I wanted to see more for me to get into a buy on my personal account, you know? Even though, yes, on the 1-hour time frame, it did make this bullish move and then retrace. I just wasn't liking how the bands were looking at the time. So I just was like, you know what? I'd rather wait, you know? So Ethereum, I'm liking the buys once it makes a retracement. Daily time frame is still very much calling for sells and bearish, but I know the weekly time frame isn't. The weekly time frame looks like it's just bouncing off of the upper danger zone. It looks like it's going to keep going bullish. So I'm pretty confident that prices are going to keep going bullish and retracing. But if it starts to break these lows, yeah, forget about that. So overall, let me not even put these all out. What I would rather want is Ethereum or Ripple. Okay, so GBPUSD. I'll talk about that later. Let me go over to the weekly time frame. I like that bearish candle from a couple weeks ago that happened. Weekly time frame is looking to set up for a potential sell, but it's too early for me to call that, so I wouldn't try to get into any type of sells quite yet until price breaks these lows of like 1.36671. That would be a better area that you would want to look for. A retest and then price to continue. Daily time frame. Daily time frames already called for a sell. I think price is going to keep falling, so expect this. I expect 1.3700 to probably get hit later on this week, but I'm not 100% certain on that because I do overall would want to still see this retracement, because this is what I wanted to see last week. I wanted to see price drop, retrace to the RSI line, and then continue. So that might not be the case here. Let me look on the 3 days. 3-day time frame. It looks like it's going to call for a sell, and only reason why I'm looking at 3 days is because it's kind of, yeah, it's like that middle ground between 1 day time frame and the weekly time frame. There's some people that like trading off of the 3 days time frame, and I'd be like, let me take a look at it, you know. But it's not my cup of tea. It's not like a time frame that I would use to really say that, okay, I'm going to use this time frame as like everything, like it's one of my top 4 time frames. No, I like my weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. So 4 hour time frame overall, I'm still waiting for a retracement to possibly happen. And again, I like seeing a green candlestick popping up. That means that there's bullish pressure, a lot of bullish pressure. So still expect this to play out. You know what? I'm not even going to look at the retracement. I'm just probably going to end up getting into a buy, honestly speaking. And if price calls for a sell, I'll get out of that sell on arbitrage personally. So long exit all, create. So let's see how that plays out. I'm going to get into the buy. My stop loss is probably going to be below 1.37700, and then once I get that alert, I'm out of there. Okay, GA. Daily time frame GA is looking very bearish, and after what it did last week, I don't expect anything less for it to do, you know. The retracement definitely is possible, but from what it looks like to me, it doesn't look like price is gonna really retrace that much. I could be wrong. Ooh. Oh, it's my router. I could be definitely wrong with price just retracing. Let me go see actually the 4 hour time frame. Yeah, from the looks of it, price can just definitely keep dropping, especially with these magenta candlesticks, and then magenta with white candlesticks. If I don't see any white candlesticks happening, then price is not going to retrace, and it's just going to keep falling. So overall, just going to wait and see what the 1 hour tells me. Honestly, 1 hour probably setting up for a buy. Yep, that retracement is most likely what's going to play out. So gonna catch that wave on GA. Same thing with GU, you know, like GU is way less. It doesn't look as great on the 1 hour, but I'm going based off of the 4 hour time frame, because again, I want to really catch the retracement. But the 1 hour isn't confirmed for that buy yet on either GU or GA, so just be wary of that. Price can still end up falling. In fact, I'm going to be safer, and I'm going to just wait for the 1 hour time frame. Once per bar close. I might get into this GU early just because of the 4 hour, but I'm going to look for buy opportunities on here as well. Okay, GJ, weekly time frame, still very much bullish, but it looks like that RSI line is coming closer to the upper danger zone. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the RSI line never leaves the upper danger zone or lower danger zone. So what I'm looking for price to do is, you know, it's already called for that sell. I expect it to continue selling. I see the magenta candles. The GJ looks better than all the other GB pairs to it for a drop. So, you know, as I mentioned, just want to see that drop happen. 4-hour time frame, on the other hand, it looks like it might be bullish, but I'm not really crazy over it because price had already pushed to the upside and came up to these highs on the upper danger zone. So I think price is just probably going to end up continuing to drop. And GJ 1-hour time frame is setting up. So I'm gonna wait for these 1-hour time frames. If these 1-hour time frames don't play out or don't give me an alert, that means that price probably ended up just continued falling. So that's what I'm looking at for GA and GJ. But if that does happen, I will be happy because EURGBP will be continuing going bullish, and I'm still in that buy. So 4-hour time frame, it's already played out. Daily time frame on EG, you know, it's looking like it's probably going to end up closing above the RSI line. I like seeing that, and so I want to see price continue going bullish. Weekly time frame is extremely bearish though, so still waiting on that for like a couple more weeks, like probably like 4 or 5 more weeks. But daily time frame can definitely, if price closes above this RSI line, I would be hopeful for price to continue going bullish. So any pairs that anybody wants me to look at on arbitrage, any other pairs? Again, guys, this is what I'm going to be doing more often. I know that there are a lot of people who like my technical analysis a lot more, but you know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the session, I want to be able to give that value more to my students. So and of course there's a delay between on YouTube, so gotta wait a little bit before I want to really hop off. Let me go ahead and, all right guys, well if that's the case, no questions. All right, well then I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. And you know, if I see any opportunities that I'm willing to like just be like, oh, I'm gonna get into this trade, then I'll go ahead and throw it on the chat and everything like that. But right now I'm really focused on getting next wave up and running, so I will go ahead and catch y'all later. Appreciate it.